I'm on a mission to introduce my husband to some real literature. So for today's book, we have King of Wrath. Here you are. What do you think? What do you think it's about?
I like the ruby on here. That stands out to me
Mhm.
right away. Um, I've seen this book talked about before, and it's been around the house for a little bit. My only exposure to the word wrath is essentially through your books, and so I'm like loyal to like ATL, like that's the King of Wrath. I don't know how to. It's
Mhm.
like weird, but I don't know how to explain. So, anyways, I'm coming in with a little bit of that background and
Mhm.
context on it. That's what I'm thinking about. So potentially a demon book here.
No, no. We'll look back.
Yeah.
It's a CEO billionaire romance.
Oh, okay.
That's
All
right. I thought
right.
it was going to be a fantasy book too. So I was pretty
Yeah.
surprised because I bought it without reading the back or anything. So I was pretty surprised. So basically, there's this man. His name is Dante Russo, and he's like a CEO billionaire. I think they say in the book he's worth $2 billion.
Oh, okay.
And it's all New York City. So he's like New York City, like
Mm-hmm.
old money elite.
Old money.
So
Okay.
that's the male love interest. The female love interest is this woman. Her name is Vivian.
Okay.
And she's still very wealthy, but she's like new money. Okay.
Okay.
So the book starts out and she's at a party, but she's working the party because while she's extremely wealthy, she's like
Mm-hmm.
different.
Oh,
She's
okay.
like all the other wealthy girls are like described as being pretty like vapid and that kind of
Yeah, of course.
stereotypical New
Sure.
York socialite,
Mm-hmm.
but she's like humble.
Oh, okay.
She's like, I benefit from the money, but I don't need it. And
Okay.
so she's an event planner. She like started her own company because she wants to like separate from her father's money. She wants to do it on her own. So she's working this party. And, this is just kind of like, a way to get across her personality that she's separate from all these wealthy people because she's unique.
Does she know a lot of people at the party? Is this
Oh,
a
yeah.
big
So she knows,
social thing?
yeah, it's like a fundraiser. And so they comment in the book that it's weird for her to be working a party that typically she'd be at as a guest.
Okay.
And so while she's at the party, she gets a phone call from her dad who's like,
Mm-hmm.
come to dinner
Mm-hmm.
next week. And
When we say new money, like it's still family money. It's not like she's
yeah, so
earned it from her
it's
events money.
family money. So her father is in the jewelry business.
Oh,
And so they started off
Ruby. Okay.
with it's actually not this particular ruby,
Oh, okay.
but
We'll
you'd
get there.
think, yeah, we'll get there. So they were in the jewelry business. So she grew up like pretty poor
Mm-hmm.
or just like lower middle class.
Mm-hmm.
And then like his business took off and
Okay.
then she became,
Okay.
so it's like pretty new money,
Okay. Okay.
like within her lifetime. She goes to her dad's house, her parents' house, dad and her mom,
Okay.
and they sit her down and they say, surprise, you're engaged.
Oh, arranged marriage.
Arranged marriage, which they say in the book is like pretty common in these like New York money.
Okay.
It's like
It's not like
pretty
completely out of the blue to her.
No, it's like common that like their business arrangements, things like that.
Okay.
A marriage is a little more of a business arrangement than it is like a love match.
And this is still like contemporary. Like,
yeah, this is
society.
like this takes place like this year. Like
Okay.
they've got cell phones. They're like
Yeah,
calling
yeah.
each other. Yeah.
Okay.
And so she's engaged
Mhm.
and her fiance is coming to dinner
That night.
that night.
Oh, okay.
And so she's absolutely blown away. She's talking a little trash. And he
She's
walks in.
mad or she's nervous.
She's like upset, but she's also trying to be really respectful of her parents. So it's
Okay.
like, this is like a whole theme throughout the book that like she wants to be really respectful of her parents.
Okay. I like that.
But she's like pretty peeved being married off to the highest bidder,
Sure.
essentially. Anyway, so this guy comes in and he is being a jerk. Like he is
No.
not happy. And because she doesn't know this until later in the book, but we know he's being blackmailed. So CEO billionaire, he's like old money, like elite, like top of the line. He can have
Okay.
anybody he wants.
Uh-huh.
And Vivian's dad blackmailed him into marrying his daughter.
Oh, do you know like the dish that he has on it?
Yeah,
Like,
so the CEO's younger brother
Mhm.
was banging some like mafia's man's niece.
Oh, so it's like
And
the
so like they
mafia.
have photos of it and he's like, if you don't marry my daughter, I'm gonna send the photos to the mafia man and he's
Oh,
gonna
God.
murder your brother.
So it's not even something he did. It's like his family did it.
And he's
which
like
is like good because
protecting
then
his
he's
brother.
like still like he's not
Yeah.
tarnished.
But she doesn't know that he was blackmailed.
Yeah.
She knows it's like a business arrangement,
Okay.
but she just doesn't really know all the details of it.
Yeah. More of like this is gonna lead to good mergers and acquisitions down the road, not
Yeah.
like I'm blackmailing you.
Anyway, so they're at this party, they set the date of the wedding and they start doing all this planning. She has to move in with him in 2 weeks.
Okay. Dang.
And obviously
Moving
nobody's
fast.
pleased about it, right?
Yeah.
But she moves in with him and they are just like avoiding each other. Anytime they're around each other, they're like arguing. It's not a good situation.
Okay.
And they keep doing this and they keep doing this. But because Vivian is like so different from all the other girls, he's like pretty intrigued. Like he'll expect her to do something because that's like what all the other girls would do.
Right.
And she like does the opposite. And he's
Yeah.
like, wait. So this keeps happening. And like, she'll like, for example, he gave her his black Amex card. And she went out and she bought $100,000 worth of flowers and jewelry because he made her mad. And he was like, I respect it type of thing.
Okay.
Like, I don't understand it because I'm not.
That's a good way to get at me.
Yeah.
You don't understand it because you're not ready to spend the
I would
$100K on
be
flowers.
pretty peeved.
You know how many flowers you could buy?
A lot of flowers. I'm assuming he has a
Would you buy
large
more
home.
flowers or more jewelry?
Jewelry's got better resale value.
You're just thinking how you could pocket this in the future, not even what you would do with it.
Yeah. So this whole time he is working behind the scenes. So they're arguing back and forth, coming to almost like a friendship, truce, a little relationship in there. But this whole time he's working behind the scenes because he's like, I'm going to absolutely destroy her family. I'm going to delete the evidence, find and delete the evidence, destroy her family, and then break off the engagement.
Okay.
Like he's
got a plan.
He's got a plan.
And is this all in her point of view or are you getting some of his POV? Is that how you're learning?
It's back and forth, back and forth POVs.
Okay.
And so you kind of, what's going on with both characters. But then eventually, as with all romance books, they start to get along. They'll have one heartfelt conversation and they pull back some steps. And they're doing this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until eventually, like, love is in the air. Love is blooming. It's blossoming.
And we're we're feeling good. We're rooting for this.
We're feeling good. But now he is struggling because he's like, what do I do? Because he knows he's going to delete the evidence either way. But it's like, do I destroy her family or not? It's the big thing. And ultimately he decides to destroy her family.
Oh, man.
He's like, no, they gotta go. They messed with me. I'm Dante Russo. They gotta go.
Yeah.
So he does. He like destroys all the evidence and I don't know, implants some evidence in her father's business and whatever. It's a whole thing. And it's slowly crumbling. She finds out. So she learns that A, it was blackmail. B, he destroyed, and she overhears a conversation that he has with her father, where her father is like, "How could you do this? Think of Vivian." And the CEO guy is like, "I don't care about her," but he's like, he does care about her.
But he's just like trying to be hurtful to the dad because the dad's blackmailing him. Got to be mean.
Yeah, but she overhears that, and she's like, "Bet."
Yeah.
She goes back to their house because now they're sharing a bedroom together. Like it's cute. She moves out. She gets a suitcase and she's gone.
Right.
And he's drinking himself. He takes, mind you, for a CEO of,
what does he do?
He takes.
Do we talk about it? It just doesn't matter. He's just got money.
CEO, but he takes a lot of vacation time.
Oh, okay.
Like he's taking a lot of time off.
That's the old money situation. Like he might be the CEO of something, but I'm assuming it's like a family business or something.
It is a family business, but it's also implied that like he's like working.
Okay.
Like it's not just like he just has a little seat in the boardroom. And
is there any conflict around she's new money, he's old money? Does she like start to integrate well into his old money lifestyle, even though that there's like tension at the beginning?
There's like people who will make snide comments a little bit, but that's not really huge. Like they both come from so much money that it's not like she has to like learn the traditions or anything like that. Like she knows what they all are. It's just a matter of like how other people respect her. Until one time, this old lady who carries a poodle around with her makes a comment of like, what's he getting out of this deal type of, because he's so much better than her. And she gets invited to do some things and they'll be like, typically we only want somebody of a certain lineage, but because you're marrying Dante Russo, stuff like that. But that's really as far as it goes. Anyways, she moves out. He's drinking himself into a stupor. The brother who was banging the mafia lady comes over and is like, you stupid boy, are you in love with her? And then the CEO has a moment of clarity where he's like, whoa, didn't even consider that. I'm in love with her. I have to win her back.
Yeah.
And so then he shows up at this party she's at, and this is where this ring comes in. Because his proposal to her was to leave a giant diamond on the bedside, and this is like the family ring. And so he gives it to her, and he proposes, and she accepts. And then there's an epilogue of they get married at his big family villa in Italy, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, and he reverses the damage done to her family. She doesn't ask him to do it because she like has a fight.
What damage? I thought it was just like he deletes the.
He deleted it, but then he planted some evidence in the
to get them in
to,
trouble.
Like, ruin it, and
okay.
he puts an end to that. So they're not totally destroyed.
Not a fantasy romance.
Not a fantasy romance.
Where does the name King of Wrath come from? Like, I was
Um,
expecting like I guess he's kind of like anger at the beginning, but like Wrath would have like some
Yeah.
sort of anger there.
I think because he's like the king of the rich people,
Okay.
and Wrath because he's
Okay.
upset.
Have you read a lot of tech? You like the CEO, billionaire?
I really like fantasy, so I tend to not necessarily love CEO
Mhm.
romances, anything like that. But I really enjoyed this. I thought it was well written. I'm a sucker for any romance, let's be honest. I'm happy with it. But yep,
You definitely zoomed through it.
I did zoom through it. I read it in what, a day and a half?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think? Would you read this? King of Wrath?
This one, I don't think I'll be reading.
No?
This feels a little bit more of a traditional romance, not necessarily like the fantasy that I think that kind of pulls me in, or like the really niche kind of plot ideas that we've seen some of these, but sounds like a interesting book. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm happy I read it.